Have you ever faced a wall so high, so thick, so impossible that it seemed to mock your every effort? Today, we're journeying back in time to a story that is all about facing those kinds of walls, the legendary fall of Jericho. This isn't just a tale of ancient warfare, it's a profound lesson in faith, obedience, and the power of unconventional strategies. Let's set the scene. The Israelites, after 40 long years wandering in the desert, are finally on the brink of the Promised Land. Moses has passed the torch to his successor, Joshua, a man of courage and deep faith. But standing between them and their destiny is a formidable obstacle, the city of Jericho. Jericho wasn't just any city. It was one of the oldest and most fortified cities in the ancient world. Imagine massive double walls, so thick that chariots could race on top of them. Its gates were barred, its soldiers were ready, and its people were terrified of the approaching Israelites. From a human perspective, taking this city looked like an impossible task. They didn't have siege engines or advanced weaponry. All they had was a promise from God. Before the main event, Joshua sends two spies into Jericho. This is a classic military move, but what happens next is anything but ordinary. The spies find refuge in the house of a woman named Rahab. Now, Rahab is an interesting character. She's an outsider, living on the margins of her society. But she has heard of the God of Israel and the miracles he performed, like parting the Red Sea. Her faith is a tiny spark in a city filled with fear. She hides the spies, helps them escape, and in return, makes a deal to save her family. This small act of faith from an unexpected source becomes a crucial thread in our story. Remember her name, Rahab is a hero in her own right. With the spies safely returned and their report delivered, Joshua receives his battle plan. And this is where things get really strange. You'd expect God to give Joshua a brilliant military strategy, right? A plan involving battering rams, catapults, or a clever ambush. But that's not what happens. God's instructions are, to put it mildly, bizarre. He tells Joshua to have the army, led by 7 priests carrying trumpets made of ram's horns and the Ark of the Covenant, march around the city of Jericho once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they are to march around the city 7 times. And after the 7th lap, the priests will blow the trumpets, and all the people will shout with a great shout. Then, God promises, the wall of the city will fall down flat. Can you imagine being one of the soldiers hearing this for the first time? Marching, shouting. No swords, no ladders, just walking and yelling. It must have sounded ridiculous. It defied all military logic. The people inside Jericho must have watched from their high walls, first with fear, then probably with confusion, and finally with mockery. Here are these Israelites, just walking in circles. What kind of threat is that? This is the first major test for the people. After 40 years of their parents and grandparents grumbling and disobeying in the desert, this new generation has a choice. Will they trust in this seemingly foolish plan, or will they rely on their own understanding? This is a lesson that echoes through time. Sometimes, the path to victory requires us to set aside our own logic and have complete faith in a higher plan. So, for 6 days, they obey. Every day, the procession begins. The armed men lead the way, followed by the 7 priests with their trumpets, then the priests carrying the sacred Ark of the Covenant, and finally, the rear guard. They circle the mighty city once and then return to their camp. The key instruction during these 6 days, silence. No one is to speak a word, not a battle cry, not a whisper. The only sound is the tramp of marching feet and the continuous blast of the 7 trumpets. Think about the psychological tension of those 6 days. The silent, steady, relentless marching. It's a powerful display of discipline and unity. It's also a powerful act of faith. Every step is an affirmation of their trust in God's promise. They are not just walking, they are engaged in a spiritual act, a moving prayer, a testament to their obedience. The silence itself is a form of power, building an incredible sense of anticipation for what is to come. Then comes the 7th day. The big day. The Day of Sevens. They rise early, at the crack of dawn. This time, they don't just circle the city once. They march around it 7 times. 1 lap, 2, 3. The tension builds with each circuit. The people of Jericho are watching, their mockery likely turning back into unease and fear. What is happening? What is the meaning of this strange ritual? The sun climbs higher in the sky. The soldiers must be tired, their feet sore. But they press on. 4, 5, 6 laps. The final lap begins. As they complete the 7th circle on the 7th day, Joshua gives the command. The moment has arrived. He says, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." The 7 priests let out a long, powerful blast from their trumpets. And then, a sound that shatters the silence of the past week erupts. The entire nation of Israel, hundreds of thousands of people, lets out a single massive, earth-shaking shout. And then it happens. The impossible. Just as God promised. The massive, impenetrable walls of Jericho don't just crumble. The scripture says they fell down flat. They collapsed in on themselves, creating a ramp of rubble leading directly into the city. The path was clear. The Israelites charged straight ahead, every man for himself, and took the city. The victory was total and swift. And amidst the chaos, the spies remembered their promise. They went directly to Rahab's house, identified by the scarlet cord she had hung from her window, and brought her and her entire family out to safety. Her act of faith saved her. She went from being an outcast to being grafted into the lineage of Israel, a testament to the fact that faith is what truly matters. So, what can we take away from the fall of Jericho? This story is so much more than a historical account of a military victory. It's a powerful metaphor for the battles we face in our own lives. First, it teaches us about the nature of our walls. The walls of Jericho were external stone and mortar. Our walls might be internal. They could be fear, anxiety, addiction, a difficult relationship, a career obstacle, or a seemingly impossible dream. They are the things that stand between us and our own promised land. They look just as solid and unconquerable as Jericho's walls did. Second, the story highlights the importance of faith and obedience, even when the plan makes no sense. The Israelite battle plan was illogical. Marching and shouting isn't how you conquer a fortified city. But their victory wasn't dependent on their military strategy. It was dependent on their obedience to God's strategy. How often do we try to solve our problems using only our own logic and strength, when a different, perhaps counterintuitive approach is required? Sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do is to trust and follow a path that doesn't seem logical at first. Third, consider the power of patience and persistence. 6 days of silent marching. It wasn't a quick fix. It required daily, consistent effort. They had to keep showing up, day after day, even when they saw no visible progress. The walls looked just as strong on day 6 as they did on day 1. Our breakthroughs often require the same kind of steady persistence. We have to keep walking our laps, even when we don't see the walls cracking. And finally, the power of collective action and a unified voice. The final shout was not just a few people, it was the entire nation. There is incredible power when people come together with a single purpose and a single voice. When we unite our faith and our efforts, we can create a force powerful enough to bring down any wall. The fall of Jericho is a timeless reminder that with faith, obedience, and persistence, no wall is too high. The methods might seem strange, the waiting might feel long, but the breakthrough will come. What are the walls of Jericho in your life? Maybe it's time to stop looking at their size and start marching. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into timeless tales. Let me know in the comments what walls you're facing. I'll see you in the next video.